5 things I want and 5 things I don't want in season 1 of Doctor Who. It's time to annoy some people. Hello guys, welcome back to New Who HQ. I am Matt. Today I'm going to be giving 10 things that I do, which will be 5, and I don't, which will be the other 5. This isn't really in order from when I do them. I'm going to start with things that I don't want in series season 1 / season 14 / season 40 something like that, if you're going to go that far back and count it. Starting off with the 5 things that I do not want in series 1. The first one is returning villains, monsters which have returned for a long period of time, and on my notes I've narrowed it down to the Cybermen, the Daleks and the Master. Now for the Master, I adore the Master, I love every single incarnation. I just think now simply the Master has appeared in too many episodes. So we had the Master first appear in season 3 of Utopia. Since then, obviously he was the main sort of mystery box and the overall threat, and basically the whole finale was all about the Master and trying to stop him. Finale of David Tennant in the specials. The Master was at the front again. In series 8 you had the whole thing with this person called Missy, this woman. Don't know who it is, it turns out it was the Master. In series 9, the Master was in it, Missy was in it. In series 10, John Sim and Michelle Gomez as the Master are both in it. Series 12, we had the yeah, you get what I mean. As much as someone that quite enjoys the sort of Gallifrey history and learning about, you know, the Master and the Doctor and their relationship, I think it needs to be put on hold for a bit because it's quite simply too much. Jinx Monsoon's name is called Maestro, which I believe is Master in Italian, which obviously was an indicator that this obviously was the Master. Russell T Davies has since, after a interview, said that this is not the case, and I think he was kind of just winding us up. So that's good that we've got a new villain who's not the Master. Now, Daleks and Cybermen haven't got really any care for them. I did quite like Jodie Whittaker's sort of trilogy of the Dalek specials, New Year's specials. That was quite good. It was something different done with the Daleks. So now we're done now. Okay, we've had them. We've done something different with them. That's it. No more. To the next one, relationships. Yeah, I did a whole video about things that Doctor Who needs to stop doing, and relationships was in that list. And that is purely and simply because of how Doctor Who have done relationships in the past. I completely understand that Jodie Whittaker, the 13th Doctor, and Yaz's relationship was maybe not, you know, the reason why that didn't work was because of them two. The reason that didn't work is because they didn't have time to connect, grow, because of the amount of people in the TARDIS. I do not think that Ncuti Gatwa and Millie Gibson will be having a relationship. This is not what I'm hinting at. It's just something to be wary of, that it can grow over time or something can happen and doesn't have to be between the Doctor and the companion. All I'm saying is if you're going to do it, give it enough time, because I don't really care for it anymore. The 10th Doctor and Rose is, I'm split on that. Okay, I know some people absolutely despise the idea of it and believe that she was much better off with Eccleston, the 9th Doctor, but a lot of people also really do ship 10 and Rose. I am basically middle of that. And then you had the weird Amy Pond. Yeah, we're not going to get into Amy Pond. But yes, no more. Let's leave it. And if you're going to do it in a better way than you've ever done it before. The next one is end of the universe scenarios. And I really have sort of pinpointed this on Russell T Davies because he is someone that likes to try and destroy the world. The Master tried to take over the world. I'm pretty sure in his 2 finales with David Tennant, he turned himself into everybody to take over the world, and then the one before that, Sound of the Drums, he basically, the Toclafane tried to kill everyone. So these are quite big scenarios, and they both basically end up with no massive consequence. You know, everything's back to normal, more or less. Don't do that, because you are ruining the idea of the end of the universe scenario. Now when you're coming into a brand new series of him writing it, and you can now see that, oh, you know, there's been threats of the universe is going to end, but we've seen it done before, we've seen it been reversed. It just takes out the hype, the suspense, the, you know, the stakes. The stakes are high when you introduce something which could destroy the universe or the world. And this isn't saying that it shouldn't, I think if it can be done properly or better, and I understand that now with a bigger budget, you could show more implications and consequences from certain events which could be longer lasting because now you've got the money for it. So maybe that was something to do with it, with special effects, etc. But it's something to be wary of, and something which, if it happens, I'm going to be annoyed. This is another one, and I'll say what I mean, and I mean I don't want Doctor Who to change its identity. What I mean by that is for me it's a show which has always been quite low budget, and it's been always quite cheesy, but it's also never taken away the fact that it will be emotional and heartbreaking and really sort of digging deep with an array of things, an array of emotions that we get from watching it. And sometimes it can be that, and it can be cheesy at the same time. I think when Doctor Who had a low budget, it meant that the imagination was wider, because you had to think how we're going to do this without a budget, etc. Now you've got Disney. Obviously you could also argue my point saying we've now got more money to do more things that we couldn't do before. That is fair enough. But I think when people are sort of linking the Unit Tower to Marvel and sort of seeing all of this, just this new look, as much as it is kind of like a soft reboot, it's still Doctor Who, and I kind of don't want it to sort of stray away into sort of Disney's hands of let's make it big, let's make it blockbuster, let's make it Marvel, and never introduce superheroes ever again. Never do it. Rey Mysterio, get out, hate it. And yes, the last one from the list is bringing back David Tennant. This was hard for me to write because I love David Tennant. I loved him as the 10th Doctor, I loved him as the 14th Doctor. But don't bring him back, because we do not want to steal away Ncuti's time. His picture was in the teaser, if you remember seeing that. Now obviously I understand that sometimes the Doctors do come back in like flashbacks of like, do you remember who do you remember the faces you used to be, and then they get them up. That could be something that's more likely than actually that face of the Doctor having something to do with the story. People will always demand David Tennant. The more you bring him back, the more people demand it, the more people get angry with the current situation that Doctor Who is in, aka Ncuti Gatwa. But also you're going to drive people away, and you're just going to create more of a wedge and more of a just bother within the fandom by bringing someone back and not. And I think it's because it's always David Tennant. I think if someone else came back like Matt Smith, who's basically not been in Doctor Who since he was generated, deep breath, I'll count it. Okay, let's move into the 5 things that I would like to see more of, and some of these have already been confirmed, but I'm going to give my reasoning behind them because they might be a little bit controversial. The first one is mystery boxes, which I really like. I haven't got any arguments there. Actually, no, I like them. I understand why people don't like them and get annoyed by them and frustrated by them, and it's kind of like we're just not moving on from mystery boxes and trying to think of a new way of storytelling. We're just going to do the old way. But every mystery box brings something brand new. I'm not going to go through mystery boxes, but I'll give an example if you don't know what I mean. For example, in Series 1 you had certain times in an episode it could mean absolutely nothing to the episode, but you start to pick up that it's being said or it's written somewhere. Bad Wolf is what I'm exempling here with Series 1, and it turns out that Bad Wolf had quite a significant, Bad Wolf had a massive impact on Doctor Who basically for the whole of Russell T Davies' run, but Series 1 was where it was first introduced and was first hinted at. So it could be basically anything. I like that because I think that builds up to a finale which feels deserved, because you've got to wait, you're still guessing about what it's gonna be. And yes, I know I said earlier on about how I think certain finales, only some, I'm really not saying that all, but some do get let down, and maybe the mystery box is adding to that because it's building it up. But it depends what the mystery box is building up to. And it's building up to who Harold Saxon is. That led to one of the best reveals in Doctor Who history being the Master. That's nothing to do with having high, that's fantastic. It was done beautifully. So there are certain examples where, it's going to be built up to be high stakes, and then it does pay off. So mystery boxes, I hope, they are going to be continuing. Mrs. Flood is a mystery box. Several season mystery boxes I've maybe a little bit more of an issue with, because then it's kind of, you start to get a little bit stale and maybe it's a little bit boring after a while. Like, if we're still asking the question, who is Mrs. Flood in 2025 or, God forbid, 2026, I don't care anymore. Or when it's announced, I'm more going to be relieved that I know more than oh my goodness. So yeah. The next one is episodes about the Doctor. Now, this is absolutely not me saying that I don't think Ncuti Gatwa is a good Doctor, nor do I want less of him. I absolutely love it, and with us only getting a limited series, I absolutely want to have him as much as possible. But throughout his era, a few episodes, one episode, I think episodes where the Doctor is not in them, but you know, has a very laid back approach on the episode, I think are really, really good. Blink is the first example I think of, but there are other episodes like the Crimson Horror, sort of. The Doctor does come in halfway through, but for the first 15 minutes or so, he's not really in it. And I guess you could technically use Human Nature and the Family of Blood as an example for the majority of it, because even the Doctor's in it. He's not the Doctor, he's John Smith. So I guess what I'm getting at is that I like stories where I don't like the Doctor just to come in and fix it like that, or it's an easy fix. And if you don't have the Doctor in it at all, and he has to come in later on and sort of has to deal with everything and then fix it all in one go, I think that's better, because it just makes it a more enjoyable thing, and also gives people, you know, a guest cast to come in and absolutely shine. Yeah, again, Carey Mulligan did that fantastically in Blink. So there's opportunities for new people to come in and shine, and yeah, I think that's just quite a cool. Yeah, next one is already been confirmed, more of Unit, more monsters, just newer sort of freshness. As I said about the last one, about changing its identity, this is different. Keep the same identity, but bringing it through with brand new things. There's a slight difference between them, just completely removing what Doctor Who is all about, which I sometimes do fear Disney would do over the course of a few years. So yeah, I think more Unit. I quite like Unit. I quite like Kate Lethbridge-Stewart. Maybe a few more sort of, we sort of learn more about the Unit staff, not just about Kate. I do like the idea that like a lot of the Doctor's old companions tend to work for Unit. A Donna Noble cameo would be greatly appreciated. But you had Mail obviously coming back, etc. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot there. There's a lot happening. I feel like it can get better. There's a lot to work with. I don't know maybe if they're holding off with how much they give us of Unit if they're planning a spin-off. But I mean, yeah, there's loads of opportunities to work with it, and alongside the new monsters as well. Yeah, this is the next. The next one is someone powerful away from the Master, because the Master's always someone that could pretty much match the Doctor in many ways with the threat that he can cause, the calamity, the consequences, but also how they bounce off of each other, and I'd like that with someone that's not the Master. The Dream Lord was a villain in Amy's Choice in Series 5, which was only in there for one episode. I loved the Dream Lord. It was such a really exciting concept which we only got one episode of. I understand it's cool and it's really, really good because we've had such a short time of it, and the less you know the better, but something on the lines of that would be quite good. And the last one, probably the most controversial thing I'm gonna say, is more of the Timeless Child arc. This is also something that Russell has addressed recently, saying that he would like to work with it, and I have basically more or less always said that the Timeless Child arc is something which I think is fantastic, or better, or good, if done perfectly, if done better than Chibnall did it. And I think a lot of people hate it because of the way it was done. So Russell addressed it in Wild Blue Yonder, and I think that's good that we don't completely, you know, throw it into the bin and forget about it just because majority of fans don't like it. I think let's try it again. However they're going to, use it in an episode or in a plot. But I think it can be done well, and I think don't give up on it, because I think there is potential there, and you can see a massive U-turn if it's done correctly to people actually liking it because they understand it better and it actually means something and it makes sense and adds to the Doctor's character, whatever, however you want to do it. So that is it. Those are the 5 things I want and 5 things I do not want. Do you agree, or do you completely and utterly just disagree? Every single episode is going to be reviewed and we'll be speaking about theories and anything over the next couple of months. And I'll see you all very, very soon. Goodbye.